also what public AI does, it would be great for our audience to get started with. Anyways, thank you so much for joining us today.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Firstly, can you help me out with how I pronounce your name? Is it Gatin?
Yeah, sure. It's Gatin. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Gatin,
Awesome.
for the warm intro. And it's honestly a pleasure to be a part and kind of shed my light on what I think about certain topics today. So, thanks again for having me, and thank you everyone for tuning in and listening to us. I will just give you a brief introduction about myself, what I do at this company called Public AI, and what is it that our vision is. So, just to roll back, my name is Shiva Badola. I am currently heading the business development at Public AI, where mostly I deal with a lot of venture cap and make sure that I'm kind of taking the reins in understanding how is it that we can expand broader with more collaborations through different partnerships and different networks that we can do. I've kind of been around the crypto space for 5 to 6 years now, and yeah, it has been a great ride. I've ended up consulting for a couple of firms around the crypto space who were developing things on Web3 from DeFi to even metaverse projects. And before that, I was a part of this institutional trading firm called Falcon X. So kind of seen both the institutional bit and the user application bit in this whole crypto space. Um, so that's exactly what the past has been like. I've been with Public AI for about 6, 7 odd months now, and it's genuinely been a pleasure building a project which is both on the crossroads of AI as well as Web3. So, in a nutshell, what we are a decentralized application, and the whole idea is to help large language models get trained with the use of Web3. So essentially giving power to everyone and anyone around the planet to come in and start training LLM models and get rewarded for the same in the process. So happy to chat more about what we do and dive deeper into this conversation as we move along.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Shiva. So to get started with, like, since Amy was the first speaker and we are just planned for it, like, what was the whole mission behind public AI? I know that making the models decentralized, giving the autonomy, and also making the models decentralized, anyone also getting incentivized from it. What else do you see as the core mission for public AI? And as there are a lot of domains in which multiple companies are bringing LLMs onto on-chain. So where do you see public AI stands there?
That's a fantastic question. And yeah, just to address the first bit, Amy is kind of caught up with another meeting. So yeah, I'm happy to uh, tag in for this specific conversation. Your question, what is it that was the vision behind public AI? So, in fact, when I spoke with Steven, who is the founder, the whole idea resonated with what decentralization, Web3, cryptocurrencies have all been about. And essentially, it's about how is it that power can be given back to the people. But it is right at the cornerstone of when AI is taking over the world as we speak. So it's basically, in a way, you got to think about how is it that you can combine, firstly, both of these technologies, and second, make sure that the good parts about Web3, which is decentralization and transparency and uh, uh, like just being a global medium for anyone to be a part of. How can we adopt those things into AI and kind of look at what we can build? So the whole vision behind public AI was to give out, be a dedicated uh, AI data infrastructure that is open to everyone. and that is the core of what we do. So this essentially means that everyone can contribute data to train AI, evaluate AI, engage with AI in various ways, and also share in the revenue generated from these activities. So the core mission for us is to kind of democratize access to AI and making it a platform where collaborations and contributions are encouraged and rewarded. So by doing so, we aim to leverage the collective knowledge and data of the entire human population to train the public AGI. So our partnership with COG Labs also is essential because it kind of bolsters our data storage and verification methods. Uh, you guys are kind of have your expertise in decentralized technology, uh, which complements our approach as well to democratization by kind of enhancing the efficiency and security of our own Merkle tree-based batch upload. So basically, all in all, the whole vision has always been about security transparency, as I mentioned.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that. As you mentioned, like since multiple users will be able to contribute to the ecosystem and they can also get incentivized out of it, that brings a collective onboarding. Like they just the most of the things here depends on like whether they are able to incentivize or like to just to get more audience into it. Like open source is great and giving contribution voluntary is great, but if you're able to incentivize that, the quality of the quality of the contribution is improved in a whole lot basis. So that's really great to get in a lot of data for the models. So as you mentioned, you're using zero gravity for storage purposes, putting in all the data in us, getting a higher throughput from us compared to what other layers offer. So that is pretty great. And just wanted to know, like, what is the current infrastructure, or like, how does the total process work in layman terms for the audience to work? Like, I know just uploading a model, everyone contributing to the model training is great. But can you give us a use case in which you will be able to explain the whole flow from start to end of how a user can come in and contribute, or from a company side who is willing to partner with you?
Absolutely, Gatin. I would love to kind of address that question. In fact, that'll be a great way of explaining what we essentially do. Uh, but as you mentioned, that is exactly also what our business model is. So, what basically Public AI was inspired by the belief that that the data ownership should belong to the users and not just the firms. So when we created platform, the whole idea was that it's a platform where AI builders can come in and sort of validate and kind of become part of the development team, or anyone can come in and help upgrade the capabilities of the AI and benefit from the data's value. So it ensures a more equitable and inclusive AI ecosystem. So what essentially that means is that we are creating models where people can come in and kind of do minor tasks, and these tasks are super simple and quite can be quite generic for anyone to come in and kind of uh, deal with. And once you're dealing with these tasks and you solve these tasks, you in a way are training the LLM uh, with which you can we are fine tuning large data sets and large data which is coming into us. So the whole process is so cohesive that the idea is that how can we deal with such a large user base? So we recently clocked more than 500,000 users on our platform. So it's essentially 500,000 validators who have come into us and kind of help us train LLMs. So if you look at the scale and magnitude, that's massive. So essentially what we're trying to build is a product which is con- directly to the users, to the user base. So we are a direct to user base product. And while you're building a system like that, it's very important to look at the finer details, such as the simplicity of the product itself. So I'll give you a really simple example of how someone can come in and help fine tune this data and be a part of public AI. So we recently started Public AI Arena, which is a Telegram bot that we have developed. How it works is like any other Telegram bot that one would come across. So you essentially come in, you hit the bot up with a couple of messages, and essentially beyond the point, the bot will start sending you four options from which you have to select the answer that you think is the most appropriate to the question asked. So, based on your judgment and multiple judgments of different validators, we will be able to gauge that which is a higher quality answer to the question asked. So, multiple validations happening simultaneously through a programmed Telegram bot chat. So, if you look at it, what we've tried to do is use the entire Telegram ecosystem itself and help any user who's exposed to the app or who has the app downloaded to come in and start helping with fine tuning data and get rewarded in the process through tokens. So, in a nutshell, that is exactly what we do. We help anyone and anyone come in and be a part of the whole AI revolution by contributing to these different mediums. So, yeah, I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, definitely. And I really love the Telegram part because, like, rather than installing an app, like, we are able to contribute in an app that we use on a day-to-day basis. That gives us a lot of power to public AI to onboard more users from even from Web2 background who are just getting started with Web3, but they have a good public data set that I would like to contribute to train data. So that pretty much is a very good thing that I see for a larger extent as time progresses to bring in a lot of Web2 users into Web3. So I just appreciate that. Yeah, thank you, Shiva.
Oh, absolutely. And just to add to that, Catherine, I mean, as you mentioned, the whole idea was that Telegram already has millions of DAUs and MAUs. So it's already an ecosystem which is built. And for us as a business to function, it is very important for us to have a larger chunk of people who can come in and contribute to training these LLMs. So yeah, leveraging ecosystems which already exist, such as the Telegram one, really helps us in 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 expanding and kind of making sure that we have an edge. And at the same time, it's very easy for the users to also understand what to do and not go through complicated Web3 wireframes like in the past, where you had to come in, create a wallet, spend a lot on gas fee, understand what MetaMask is. So the idea is how can we simplify the whole process and make sure everyone gets benefited in the same.
Exactly. Good said. Well said that. Yeah, just next thing is like the data models are like pretty hard to be trained on chain, and we are providing a good infrastructure for it. And you are able to get all the models being fine tuned by all the users who are acting as a validators. So where do you find your challenge as like whether it is to bring in users and fine tune the models, or like to get a efficient model working with less number of backlogs. So like where do you see yourself being challenged at?
Uh, Very interesting question. So as I mentioned, what we are building is kind of very cohesive and robust. So the kind of challenges that we have also come across while building something like this are pretty unique ones. So one of the challenges is that when we're integrating with any blockchain system, we had to ensure the scalability and the efficiency of the data transaction remains intact. And while we look at scalability, we have to maintain the integrity and traceability of the blockchain. So it's inherently very complex and it requires a lot of resource of blockchain operations, which can pose kind of, certain limitations on the speed, which are very, very essential if you look at limitations on speed in general because of the kind of blockchain network that you are on. It's going to corely affect uh, your entire networking speed, which is super crucial to train any AI network. So that was a major challenge that we faced, and in order to tackle that, we we have been seeking out for partnerships for a very long time. But even with you guys, with uh, the whole idea was to leverage and innovate, kind of working with your data storage solution. So uh, it has kind of helped us out very significantly, and we're looking at how can we create more seamless ways and we can sort of reduce the latency time while we're working with a specific blockchain and not let it affect the scalability uh, or the transparency wholly. So couple of challenges that we've faced in the past have been the same, but we're super excited about the collaborations with you guys as well. By using specific Merkle proofs, for example, users can verify the data present in the data set without the need to store the entire data set on chain. So this kind of is kind of robust. It maintains the integrity and transparency, as I said, of the blockchain while also overcoming all the scalability constraints. So these have been exciting things to work upon.
Well said, Shiva. So I can guarantee from my side that as time progresses, we will be able to provide the best infrastructure and throughput compared to any blockchains available to make your work easier and make our user experience better. So
We're
thank
looking
you for
forward to that.
throwing some light on
Absolutely.
that. Awesome, awesome. So just a quick thing, like where do you see yourself again after like a year or so? Like what's the next plans for public AI? Is it to expand more on like providing interfaces for to interact with the models, or will it be more like training models and providing developer infrastructures to fine-tune models? So like will it be more on user side or will it be more related to developers to developer platform sort of thing?
Uh, Very, very interesting question. And I think you kind of mentioned the most two crucial parts that we have in the whole ecosystem. One is the user bit, which are the validators, and the other one is the product itself, where we are building large wireframes and infrastructure for masses to come and deal with. And I would like to add one more crucial pillar to that, which is the toolkit that we have developed, which is the suite of products with which anyone can come in and interact and kind of do these LLM training activities. So all three pillars are super important in a business like us, where we are dealing with large data sets as well as LLM fine tuning and uh, and also on the Web3 space. So because we have a blockchain that we're dealing with, we have wallets and users coming in and dealing with tokens, that creates a different uh, atmosphere for us to also deal with in a way. So all these three pillars are imperative for our business to kind of scale and also come across as a very robust system where we are growing with everything hand in hand. So, as I mentioned before, we recently clocked and happy to announce have gone beyond 500,000 users who have come in as validators onto our platform. So, obviously, the next goal is how can we push on those numbers and scale, because the whole vision from the very beginning is how can we give it back to the people and not just have large AI companies use data and milk data out of people and also gain uh, monetary rewards by themselves, where we want to come in that and disrupt the whole thing and essentially give back people what they own, which is their own data, or even if they want to come in and contribute data in different ways, they should be rewarded for the same and it should be voluntarily. So the whole idea is how can we tap wider audiences and increase our user base like that. For in order to solve for that, as I mentioned, we are working on products like um, our Arena, which is our bot, Telegram bot that I was talking about. So that is how we deal with the user base and help. reach out to more people and make them understand what is it that we actually do and how you have the power to come in and do LLM training and earn rewards and how easy can it be. So that is what we solve for in terms of user acquisitions. Second aspect of it is the product and the infrastructure that we are building. So whenever we think of how is it that another new tool can come in or a product or a suite of products can come in and sort of help us out, we always have to take a step back and think about both user acquisitions and secondly, a seamless way in which people can come in and interact with our products. So we have recently also launched a text to speech version, which will also help us gauge larger uh, audiences and also different formats of data that we can come in and sort of filter now through validators. So the whole idea has always been to be on the edge of innovation and also look at how these user experiences and interfaces that we are building seamless, easy to understand, and help us scale rather than be blockers to us. So that is something that we very, very crucially behind the scenes and the lovely developers on our team have been looking at for a while. And yeah, as I mentioned, thirdly, it's it's about the cohesive infrastructure of reward distribution, the token, and the whole economics behind Web3, inclusive of the blockchain aspect also into it. So this gives us also the exposure to work with a lot of Web3 projects and collaborate with different teams altogether, um, and kind of grow our our own community and our base. So which in turn obviously would enlighten people about us and possibly we reach to wider audiences and more places and users who would like to interact with the products and use them and get rewarded in the process and make them understand how easy it is for anyone to be a part of it. So these are the kind of important structures that we look at from our end, and I think in the next 1 year we would like to focus on all these three and see where we are at. So yeah, looking forward to greater times ahead.
The thing that find interesting is that you didn't prioritize any single domain or say any single pillar. You just wanted to give a wholesome experience for people who are contributing, people who are using the overall product development. It's just so good that you're able to incentivize and also be able to encourage in all aspects rather than just improving one end and just prioritizing one thing. Because you are able to prioritize each and everything for both the experience and also for their incentivization. So again, it's just great on that, Shiva. So looking forward for a greater scale together, both Zero G and Public AI.
Absolutely, we are really excited about the collaborations as well, and and thank you. But as I mentioned, it has always been the vision from the get go to kind of make sure that all of these things have been compartmentalized in our system and in our heads as well as you're trying to grow the company and grow the team and business as well. So yeah, going making sure everything grows hand in hand. Whether it's the user base, whether it's the product suite, or whether it's the infrastructure and the scalability of the platform itself, all of these have been super imperative.
Awesome. Awesome. Great to hear that. So just yeah, we started with a good introduction. We went on your mission and vision. So then we had a good example to just give a clear thing about public AI to our audience. After that, we just gave a good definition about the challenges that you faced and how you encourage every pillar for people to contribute about that. So that's really great. And we just concluded about how good our partnership is and how we are seeing and going to look forward for our future collaborations. So thank you so much, Shiva, for providing all the insights. So just to conclude with, would you like to share anything to our audience, like how they can contribute to public AI? Like as you mentioned, everything in the chat only, like go to a Telegram, contribute models. Other than that, would you like to share anything? Like, is there any events upcoming, or is there any community tasks? Just could you just throw some light on that?
Absolutely. So, as I mentioned, we take our community very seriously, considering what we're trying to build caters to a wider audience. We specifically want to get a lot of people who are familiar to the Web3 space already to come in and kind of use and interact with the products in different ways. So, obviously, we exist out of Twitter, out of Telegram. You can check us out. We're Public AI on our website as well. So we have different kind of models in which you can come in and start contributing data. So the whole idea is, okay, is that within a few clicks you're coming in and already getting reaping the benefits of contributing to LLM. Uh, in terms of community focus, we have been on lookout to do more and more partnerships. So there are loads of exciting things happening on our end, be it airdrop or even events that we're coming out with. So we do also host our own roundtables and would love to have you guys on as the next time as a guest as well. So we're always open to ideas, always open to collaborate. That's kind of been the in the DNA of our team itself. And in terms of just the community, we are very, very approachable. So please feel free to reach out to me uh, on Twitter or Telegram or even Discord now, for that matter. Happy to answer in whatever capacity that I can, or even if there are any partnerships or would you would want to understand our product suite better, we can help that out. We have our own Medium blog as well, so anything and everything regarding our announcements are all available there. But super excited to be at this space at such a time where AI is taking off. The markets in the crypto space are doing reasonably well. And what we see in the next coming 5, 6 months are going to be crucial in terms of who survives at times like this in the market, where actual businesses and people and teams who have been working on building great products and businesses, they come through. And the whole idea is to kind of expand our team, our community, and our product as well. So yeah, I mean, would just like to conclude by saying that feel free to hit us up on different channels, and we are super excited to be collaborating with you guys as well. Also, we would be at Token in Singapore the coming month, so happy to like meet people physically as well. If you guys are around, feel free to hit us up. Uh, Once again, thank you so much for Public Air.
Awesome, Shiva. So I'll meet you at Token 2049 then. So thank you so much for being here today and taking your time to share your insights to our audience and to a greater public for the greater good. So let's make AI a public good. Just want to conclude with that. Thank you so much, Shiva. Thank you, Jan, for hosting us. And thank you, everyone, for tuning in. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Gatin. It's been a pleasure.